support. And another thing that I want to clarify is the information that Sodexo has been distributing to universities here in the U.S., which I can tell you is false. And that includes my being fired by Sodexo. It was not because I was a bad worker, it was because I was organizing, along with my other co-workers. And the second thing that I want to clarify is Sodexo's claims that in February, the employees at the gold mine in the Dominican Republic received a pay increase, but the fact is that never happened. Sodexo has refused to meet with us to address any of those concerns.
Yo estoy aquí representando a mi compañero, representando a esos compañeros trabajadores de Sodexo, lo cual es muy difícil para ellos hoy en día, principalmente en mi país, en mi comunidad donde se encuentra Sodexo, conseguir un trabajo, porque la única fuente de trabajo hoy en día que hay es allá en la mina, en Sodexo, y es muy difícil dejar un trabajo teniendo que mantener una familia, y que uno no pueda tampoco reclamar nada porque puede ser agredido de la siguiente forma. Le pueden decir a uno que se vaya si es lo que uno quiere, que ellos tienen más personas que contratar. La persecución que existe en Sodexo, sabiendo que la gran mayoría son personas muy pobres que necesitan el trabajo, y por eso es que estoy aquí, a ver si puedo contar con su apoyo en la campaña que estamos llevando en contra de Sodexo.
And like I said, I come here as a representative of my coworkers, and can tell you that it's hard to get any other type of job in my area of the Dominican Republic that isn't at this gold mine. This gold mine is one of the major employers. So when you lose a job such as the one that I lost, it's very, very difficult to try to find another one. It's very difficult to provide for your family when you lose a job. And it's even more difficult for my coworkers to speak up for themselves when there's a corporation like Sodexo with intimidation tactics at the workplace, persecution in the workplace. And that's why I'm here today, here not just to tell you about my experiences, but to ask for your support.
Estas son parte de las cosas que se viven en Sodexo como trabajadora de Sodexo, mi experiencia personal, en frente de mi compañero, la voz de ellos, aquí estoy yo, y le pido todo su apoyo, y nada, esto es lo que yo podía compartir con ustedes. Gracias por permitirme estar con ustedes, estar aquí en su universidad. Gracias.
These are just some examples, these are just some of the conditions faced under Sodexo, and that's why I'm here to relay that, but also here to ask for your support, and I thank you very much for listening to me today.
Si tienen alguna pregunta.
If there's any questions, right before Q&A. So students within USAS and campuses that we've been visiting have been distributing these postcards, and basically it's a top postcard that's addressed directly to the founder CEO of Sodexo, Pierre Below. These are going to go directly to the headquarters in Paris, France, basically showing that there's several students, several community members across the U.S. That know what's going on under Sodexo and that need these concerns addressed. The bottom one is for a local power player on campuses, whoever that is that the Ithaca students may decide. You can just fill it in. So I'll just pass these around real quick, and you can feel free to take the top one and just drop it off at the end, at the front of the table.
¿Sabes si hay otros minas de Sodexo en la Dominicana Republicana? Do you know if there are other mines from Sodexo in the Dominican Republic?
No, Sodexo nada más se encuentra en Barrigol, allá en mi comunidad.
Sodexo is not at another location, thank goodness, besides Barrick right now, Barrick Gold Mine.
Some questions?
Can you talk more specifically about why she felt she specifically was fired and not other workers?
porque yo soy una persona que siempre, no me gustan, en primer lugar no me gustan las injusticias. Y llegó un momento en el cual siempre ellos me tenían, como se dice, en la mira, si se puede decir así, porque yo siempre iba a la oficina a hacer reclamos de las cosas que no iban bien. Entonces, el día del paro, la que me paré y le expresé al manager, al gerente de país de Sodexo, lo que estaba sucediendo fui yo, porque mis compañeros tenían miedo de poder ser despedido de la compañía, pero yo tuve el valor y le dije todo lo que estaba pasando.
You know, first and foremost, I don't tolerate injustices, and basically, you know, Sodexo had their eye on me for a while. I was always one to address abuses, conditions, unfair conditions that, you know, I experienced on the job. Frequently tried to approach managers and supervisors. So when I spoke up, that was sort of like the last string for Sodexo. And, you know, many of my other coworkers were scared. Whereas I would, you know, make it a point to speak up, many of my coworkers were fearful of speaking up, which is part of the reason that I think that they fired me specifically for those reasons.
Quiero agregar algo a lo que dijo la joven. Ellos, antes de despedirme a mí de la compañía, hubieron dos compañeros que decidieron formar un sindicato y fueron despedidos antes de despedirme a mí. Ellos se dieron cuenta, los managers de Sodexo, lo que ellos querían hacer por la injusticia que se cometen y fueron despedidos antes de votarme.
Yeah, and even prior to the time that I was fired, there were two co-workers who were actively trying to organize to form a union, and those two co-workers were also fired by Sodexo.
Thank you. Could you just talk in a little bit more detail about the conditions, the working conditions and the safety hazards in the mine itself?
Las condiciones peligrosas en la mina, lo primordial es principalmente trabajando en Sodexo cuando digo que no hay herramientas. Cuando digo que no hay herramientas suficientes para trabajar es cuando tenemos que levantar cosas muy pesadas. Como dije anteriormente, hay una compañera que está deshabilitada totalmente. Tenemos que usar protección por los efectos de cuando están explotando. Cuando están explotando en la mina tenemos que usar protección, la cual no tenemos. Tenemos que tener uniforme adecuado para mantenernos trabajando en la mina. No tenemos. Mi accidente fue provocado porque yo tenía que usar botas. Duré un año, el mismo día que a mí me despidieron. Estaba yo todavía pidiendo mis botas. Y por causa de ello no entregarme la bota adecuada para mi trabajo, yo tuve un esguince en el tobillo. Esas son unas de las cuantas cosas. Es peligroso y no tenemos... a eso me refiero cuando digo que es peligroso trabajar en la mina y que Sodexo no nos da los uniformes ni las herramientas apropiadas para mantener el trabajo.
So when I speak about these dangerous conditions, it's not just the existing conditions, but it's also the lack of safety equipment that Sodexo is supposed to provide us. It's safety equipment that, you know, we need, but it's also a disregard to times when my coworkers have their own accidents and have medical notes saying that they shouldn't have the heavy workload that they do, and Sodexo disregarding those medical notes. It's also safety equipment that we need when there's dangerous mine activity that Sodexo also doesn't provide us. For example, I requested for over a year a safety boot for my leg, and for that entire year Sodexo refused to give it to me, and that ultimately led to me having a really serious injury on the job.
There's a fair amount of community involvement here in trying to work with LIPS around the living wage issue. I'm wondering what you think about how we should be tying that specific issue, the living wage issue, into union support for the workers of Sodexo. And that would be for anybody up there.